guys, I did my Moxxi today for an online interview, so I figured I might shoot a makeup tutorial on how to do it, so stay tuned and hopefully you guys like it. Bye! So first off, I went in with a stick of white body paint. I got this from a local costume shop. It's not super expensive. And then I went in with a dollar store foam paintbrush, wet my product and applied it to my face. I did one layer with the paintbrush and then next I switched it to be my beauty blender. I also wet my beauty blender and added more product to my face to give me an actual white base. Remember, take your time and make your face as white as you like. I just did a small coat on this one. Next is eyes. I went in with my Sweet Peach palette by Too Faced in the shade Peach Pit. With a soft brush, I did a forward and back motion over my lid, covering it as much as I could. Try and make it even, but if you don't, it's not that big of a deal as we will be blending it out with a couple more colors. And now to use another Too Faced product. This time it's the Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar palette, and I used a stiffer brush to apply the shade Rum Raisin to my crease. Once that was done, I realized I had a little bit of fallout, so you just use a fluffy blush brush and you can wipe that away. So next is my Kat Von D Metal Matte palette. I just got this palette, you guys, and I love it. So I went in with the color Linen and applied that between my eyebrow and my eyeshadow color, as well as a bit on my inner crease of my eyes. Next, I took a smaller brush with the shade Oak, went underneath my eyes and created the V of my eyeshadow as well. The next step is just pretty much to take a blending brush and make it all blend together. Once that's done, we get to attack our eyebrows, which is awesome, you guys. So I took an eyeliner in a medium brown and I just drew a single line at the edge of my brow and underneath. The next step is simple. You just take an angle brush and you blend all of that color out, pulling it from the inner corner all the way to the outer corner. You don't have to add any more product, but we do want them a little bit darker. So I went in the color Hot Fudge and darkened my brows to get. Next is eyeliner. So I use the Kat Von D tattoo liner. It's actually really amazing and has a fine tip, so it's easy to control, which makes it amazing and super simple. Just put a little bit of liner on your upper lid. Once you get the desired effect you're looking for, which I have to look in my side mirror, then I went and did my lower lash line as well. Just a little bit of color because later we're actually going to be smoking that out with a shadow. So the next step is to go back into your Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar palette, and I used the shade Licorice, which is a black shade, and went under my eye and smoked it out a little bit. Now it's time for Moxxi's details. I went in with a face paint palette I got here locally. It's called Waterworks. You just add water to the product and away you go. I used a fine brush and went in and started on the teardrops. I used Moxxi's reference pictures to keep it as close as I could to her actual look. If you do make a mistake, it's not complicated to fix. You just use a damp Q-tip and try and fix it that way. I will give you a word of warning, guys. If you wipe off any of your white base, it's a pain in the butt to get that clear coverage again, so be careful. So now I was doing more details to give it that 2D dimension. I added lines to the outside of my nostrils, the top of my nose, my chin, as well as her beauty mark, and then I went back in and I outlined the edge of my nostrils to give it more of that 2D effect. Once that was done, I touched up the teardrops a little bit, did the corners of Moxxi's mouth, and then I went in with my Kat Von D liquid lipstick in the shade Outlaw. This lipstick lasts all day, you guys. Whenever I do any type of cosplay makeup, I always use her lipsticks as they do stay. The product does need time to dry. So while you're waiting for that, if you see anything else you want to add to your face, do so at this point. I added more details to my nostrils and then did a line around my chin to give it more of that cartoony type look. Once that was done, my lips are now dry. So I went back in and I used my very fine tip brush and outline my lips in black. Remember, guys, if you mess up, it is possible to fix, but white is a pain in the butt to get back on. So be slow, steady, and take your time. There's no rush. Once you have the outline of her lips done, you then can add a little bit more depth to them by adding a little bit of white for shading and highlighting in her lips. Now it's time for lashes. Lashes are fun, guys. If you've never applied them, don't be scared. Practice makes perfect. So you have to apply the glue to your lash, let it dry for a little bit, and then apply it to your lid. Once that's done, now we get to attack the chest. Normally for Moxxi, I wear a collar, but I decided to paint it this round because we're working with body paint. So I took a wider brush, wet it, applied my product, and went from there. Once I got the desired width of my collar, if I didn't have straight lines, I went in with a fine brush and tuned them up to make them nice and clean. Once the collar's done, I went in with a small brush and outlined my collarbone. Remember, if you need more product, just dampen your brush and keep going. Once the collarbone is outlined, I then outlined my cleavage. Remember to follow your natural curves of your body, and if you are going to use the cosplay technique of like bras and adding extra things, make sure you have them on at this point so your cleavage is exact. Then you can add a couple more little details and stuff to your chest. Now it's time to add her heart tattoo. So I went back in with my Kat Von D liquid lipstick in the shade Outlaw and drew the heart on. You have to let that dry a little bit. So once it's dry, you go back in with a very fine brush and your black body paint. Remember, you can wet your brush, dip it in your body paint, and go from there. Once you've outlined your heart, we want to give it a little bit more depth, so we add a white highlighter to the one corner of it. I did the outside corner as I think that's exactly what Moxxi has in all of my reference pictures. Once that's done, I took a black liner from Marc Jacobs and did my waterline. Once the waterline's done, I just did my mascara, and now the makeup is complete. Now it's time for hair. Normally for Moxxi I do wear a wig, but this round I decided just to use my own hair. So I don't have bangs, so I decided to make a fake bang, which is just a chunk of the front of my hair pulled down and then straightened and pinned back up, which will give me the illusion of a bang. After that, I took my flat iron and I just curled out all the edges of my hair. Now that that's complete, you guys, guess what? Now we get to be Moxxi!